Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Representative Solano. I do feel like the skunk at the garden party, but thank you for letting me get that over very early. And in all honesty, I want the committee to know that many school board members do support this bill. Our legislative committee, however, directed me to come with two concerns. We know and respect, by the way, Representative Solano's strong convictions about not penalizing a student, a school, or a district for a student's absence on the days when CSAPs are given. We'd like to support the bill if we could find a way to connect regarding two concerns. The first is, while the child is removed from the state accountability data collection, the no scores would not be removed from AYP calculations, or for that matter, the data released to newspapers about the schools and districts' performance. That's the first concern. The second is, our members worry that excusing students from test-taking days creates an incentive to not participate and to be absent from school. And in talking with the Department of Education, our Department of Education, they caution that if this incentive then to not participate existed, there could be an unintended consequence that could threaten federal funding. So those are the two concerns that our legislative committee did ask that I bring forward.
Welcome to the committee, and please state your name and who you're representing for the record. And are your daughters going to testify?
If you'd like them to.
If they'd like to.
Be careful what you ask for. They take after their mother. My name is Angela Engel, and I'm here today representing children. I am a founder of a mentoring and tutoring program. I have been a teacher in elementary and high school and private schools, Christian schools, and public schools. I have been an administrator and a staff development trainer. And before I begin, and I know I only have 3 minutes, so I'm going to talk really fast, I just wanted to answer a couple of the questions that have been brought forward in earlier testimony. Representative Gardner, you asked the question about longitudinal data in the measure that was passed last year. And I just want you to know that for my children, opting out of CSAP doesn't affect longitudinal data because they didn't take it before and they won't take it. We have longitudinal data on them. I am, as a teacher, in support of assessments. They take the COGAT and they take the MAP test. The question as to whether or not this bill affects funding. I think it's really important to understand that Colorado isn't making AYP. My school district, Littleton Public Schools, has some of the highest test scores. They didn't meet AYP. I'm right next door to Cherry Creek. They didn't meet AYP. So what happens today is going to have very little effect on those AYP reports. And number two, it's not an issue of funding, because funding will not be reduced as a result of how many participate or don't participate. It's a matter of how that funding is directed. The other thing, and this is a sensitive issue, and so I want to take care in speaking about it, but my mother is a paraplegic, and I have grown up in a circumstance of fighting for equality and equity, and I am really opposed to the idea that we would come to schools and say that we have a special needs child that needs an individualized learning plan, and yet they would not have an individualized assessment plan. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And when we're talking about issues of equity, we ought to be talking about issues of equity in terms of opportunity, not penalty.